Welcome back to the channel, guys. I think this is Waterloadable episode 26. As I mentioned at the end of the last break video, big thank you to all the subscribers and all the new subscribers. Since our last main video back in November last year, we pretty much doubled, so we're up to 122 subscribers now. So that's awesome. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the last video, our little day trip to Ultimate Streetcar. Like I said in the description, all the camera work there was filmed by my lad Rupert. He had lots of fun and wanted to make a video of it, so there it was. Today I'm at least starting the calipers for the front, so just a rinse and repeat of what I did with the rears after I fitted them and then took them off. So making sure that the ports for the banjos are super flat. Finished this one already. This one I just got to wet sand. Washing machine's been going, it's just stopped, so that's why I'm now filming and doing a bit of a catch up. So once I've got that nice and shiny, mirror polished with the 800, I'll flip them up and block them again with the hot glue. Done that again today and that's worked really well. And then I'll start helicoiling. So if you remember, that means drilling out the existing thread, retapping it to an oversized 10mm, and then putting in the helicoil. Right, welcome back. We're a couple of days on. I think I was filming Sunday morning and I had drilled, tapped and helicoiled all the bleed valves on these. I haven't fitted them yet, but just after the other ones leaking, I figured I may as well do it. I had 4 helicoils left, and fortunately I got them all right first time, so hopefully everything's going to be good. I was meant to be working today, but it got called off, so I am gonna get these fitted. Frustratingly, I've just spotted, and I'll show you in a minute when we get outside, my front tyres are cracked majorly, so I think I'm gonna have to put my old wheels on and hopefully they'll clear these. I was going to put well, there's already 15mm spaces on the front as it is, but I was going to put 20mm on anyway to try and get the front to match the rear a bit more, so hopefully we'll be alright. If not, we'll just have to sit put for a while until the tyres come in, and I can always take them to get fitted in the other car, so we're not stranded. So let's pick this up outside. So one of the bonuses about the front is you don't need to trim the backing plate. It doesn't protrude round the disc like the rear one does. So that's a nice surprise. It's a shame because I bought some black paint this time. But anyway, one less thing to do. Just putting out bits of sticks and stuff. Don't know how on earth that got in there. So yeah, I'm going to give the new disc a really good clean with brake clean and blue roll. Get that on, get the new caliper mounted. So I'll probably give this and then swap over the hydraulic line. So got the disc on and the spacer on. Little tip or something that I do if ever, there's a lot of overspill here, excuse that, but with wheel spacers always put some thread lock on. I've just given it quite a few jiggers. My thing's pretty worn out, so I know it's not overly torqued. As soon as I got the caliper on and I can wedge the wheel to stop it rotating, I'll give it a torque up with the torque wrench to 110 like I do with all wheel studs normally, and yeah, with that thread lock on, just another bit of peace of mind. Alright, today is not the day, unfortunately. I just can't get this one to seal. This one's okay, but I've even managed to mangle the nipple and it's pulling out the helicoil, so it's about 4 o'clock now. I'm just going to rip this all apart and put the old one back on, unfortunately, and attack this again another day. Alright, welcome back. It's actually a couple of weeks on from when I was filming last. It's taken me a while to solve the problems which you've seen in the last shot, so going to use a bit of YouTube magic to help me this morning, and then I'll go into a bit more detail when I do the other side. So here we go. Right, welcome back. You'll never guess what, it's a week on when I filmed last. If you can see, 350 discs are way too small for these calipers. I did some quick research, must have misread something, and I thought it'd be okay, but it came to putting the pads in, and yeah. So week on, got some discs suitable for a 370, gonna get them on. I'm gonna get this side sorted because there was a bit of faffing around to do, and then I'll give you a bit more of a demo on the other side of the car. Today's the day, by the way. Freaking nailed it! Whoop whoop! Just about to rain. This side is all done. Managed to bleed it okay as well with my one-man bleed. I was using this one rather than the pressurised one, and it actually all worked today with calipers with decent nipples. So one side of Akebono is done. I'm gonna have a quick tidy up, stop for lunch, and then I'll do the other side, and I'll give you a bit more of a walkthrough now that I know exactly what you need to do. So we're on the other side now. I'll be doing this a bit more step by step now that I know what I'm doing. Annoyingly, this bleed nipple is seized, and I really can't be bothered to worry about it, so I'm not going to be able to bleed this one through with fresh fluid like I did with all the others, but this is the shortest run back to the ABS module anyway, so not the end of the world. So what I'm going to do, just crack the banjo just so that's while it's still bolted on, then using, which I think is a 22, or at least let's just double check. Yeah, 22mm, taking the whole caliper off, leave it hanging up. Oh actually no, before that I'll get these undone. I'd like to put a, where is it? If you pop something in there, that's not what I use, I can't find it at the moment, but a screwdriver in there stops the rotor from spinning, means you can undo these, and I would have put thread lock on them like I do anyway, so we'll get that off, loose, and crack on. So next step, like I said, is 22mm socket on there. This is going to be tight, so I've got my trusty jack bar as my extension, and then there's another one. Oh, sorry. Hopefully you can see. There. So get the caliper off as a whole. Not going to faff about with the sliders. I've already loosened this now, and then I'll show you how the new adapter bracket works for the Akebonos. So these are the washers that come out with the main caliper bolts, the one with the 22mm hex head. You need these for the bracket kit, so keep these safe. So the other thing to do to make life easier is to pry back the caliper while it's on the car. I should normally do this before I undo the bolts, but it's still in situ, it should be alright. So I'm just going to put a screwdriver in here and pull it against the disc, and get that caliper, get the piston recessed. So yeah, then there won't be any fluid, or a lot less fluid in the caliper after I've taken it off. Right, got the caliper all secure on the hard line up there. Now I can black this off with the Ooga Jigger, and then start to look at where the bracket's going to go. Righty, disc removed. You don't need to do much to the dust shield here, but you do need to cut it and make a bit of clearance. Luckily there's a straight edge there. I followed that line on the other side, and that seemed to give enough clearance. You also want to just give this a bit of a tap to make sure that you've got plenty of clearance when you put the disc on. When I did my first fit, actually, that was with the 350Z disc, and the offset was a bit further in, so might not even need to do that this time around, but definitely need to cut this. And then obviously if you cut any metal or anything's to come off, give it a bit of a paint. This is a bit gross, and I'd quite like to clean it, but at the same time I really can't be bothered today, and I'm dead set to get the brakes finished. So we're going to do what we can. Other annoying thing, last week I didn't have my grinder because the cutting disc was broke, so I had to do it all by hand, and totally forgot to get a new one, so it looks like I'm hacksawing this off. Okay, so here is the bracket from Z1 or Z1 Motorsport over in the States. Really nice piece. What this does, you pop this one here, and then the kit comes with these black bolts. Okay, this is the washer that we saved from the other calipers. We're going to put these bolts through that way. Like that. These back ones get tightened up to 75 foot-pounds. Not sure what that is in newtons. I'm just reading what the instruction says, and my torque wrench does both, so I'm working to that. And obviously you're going to put some thread lock on there because I don't want these backing out. Also just gave the area around it a bit of a tidy because I was a bit sad it was so grubby. The other side did get a hole once over when I did the wheel bearing, and I've not done the wheel bearing on this side yet, so that's why it looks a bit nicer than 20 years of gack. Anyway, let's get this bracket on, all torqued up. One thing to bear in mind, I think it's like an 11mm hex, because none of mine fit properly. So I've been a bit naughty and using a M12 multi-spline, which pretty much fits and does the job. If this was something that you had to take on and off a lot, then I wouldn't be using this. And I've taken the other side off once or twice, and it's still working okay, so I'm going to stick with that. I can't be bothered to go anywhere to get an 11mm right now. Let's get this on. Right, the bracket's all torqued down now. Next thing to do is to get a disc on, because then I can slot the caliper over the top and bolt that up from behind. I've already put a thin layer of copper ease on the face of the hub, so I'm just going to go and get the new disc and do a bit of prep on that, and I'll show you what I do. Okay, prepping the disc. They all seem to come in different forms from different manufacturers. These ones, they're Bendix, and they've come bone dry. The other sets, which I believe were Blue Point, which I got on the rears and had half fitted, they came all covered in oil. So the thing to do is just get them clean. What I like to do is use a bit of sandpaper or wet and dry, just score up the surface a bit, and then spray with brake cleaner and wipe it until it comes back clean. So I'll probably do lots of circles round, then just round and round and round, and then get cleaning. I'll do this side first, because then I can flip it over and do the other side. I'm wearing gloves now, that way I don't get any grease or anything on the actual disc. I've also got the spacer all primed with copper slip on the face, which is going to marry up with that, because when we put this on we'll have to sling it on, get a spacer on with a couple of nuts, and then we can put the caliper on. So just a little bit of scoring. That top surface will come straight off when we come to break them in anyway, but at least we know that there's no contaminants on there now. Scored it up, brake cleaner, and given it a good wipe, and now I'll flip it, do the other side, and then get it on the car. Right, discs are on. Almost got too far ahead of myself and forgot to put some thread lock on, so before I put the spacer on to tighten it down, I'll get some thread lock on there. I'll just put 2 nuts on for now, just in case, but like I said, I know what I'm doing now from having done the other side, so I think it should be alright. But either way, need to get some thread lock on. Oh yeah, all coming together. Right, caliper is on. I just need to torque it down. That's this bolt here and this one here. Again, that's 22mm socket, and this time it needs to be 98 foot-pounds. Okay, doing alright, giving them a little bleed. This piston might go back though, which is a bit annoying. All the others have gone back in. I'm going to try and get the pads in and see whether that helps. But yeah, I've got all the air out I think, so I'm going to get the pads in, give them another bleed, get the remaining nuts on there, get that all torqued up, and we should be good to go. So I'm using some Stop Tech pads. It's the first time I've used this brand, but I know that they come quite highly rated. I'm pretty sure they're American. At least I got them from America, from Z1 or Z1 with the brackets. Going to be using some of this brake grease just to put a tiny little bit around the edges, because there's no actual like slider surface like there is on a Brembo, so just it's a little bit around and in where the pins go. Worth noting or keeping an eye for one of these on your pads. This is a brake wear indicator. So out of the 4 pads, only one of these has got this. So I'm going to put this on the most outer edge, because that's where I'll be able to hear it the easiest. I thought if I put it on the passenger side I might not notice it, but if it's over on the driver's side on the outer edge, then I should notice it when the pad's going down. I'm not going to be putting any copper slip on the back. These have got like a rubberized shim, so I'm going to leave that be, but like I said, just use some of this Techstar brake specific grease just around the edges, and yeah, should be all good. Sorted. Awesome. That went surprisingly well after the weeks of bad luck that I've had. So got the hang of using this thing. Makes all the difference having nipples that are actually tight rather than the ones on the Brembos, which I'd ruined. So I got all the air out first before putting the pads in, then got the pads in and just rebled each one again, all seeming pretty good. Quite useful having it on this hollow metal thing, because it kind of echoed when you could almost hear the bubbles coming through. But yeah, just crack the nut, give it a few pumps, keep your ears out, and then lock it off again. So we'll see how that is after a drive, pedal feel and all that. You can usually tell if there's air in there because it goes all spongy, but seemingly pretty good. So yeah, gonna get these other spacer nuts on, get the wheel on, and go for a quick spin. Right, just back from a drive, all good in the hood, which is a nice relief. Took a while for the pedal to feel like I'd expect it to, but it was working really well. Pads and discs have had their sort of run-in period, or run-in routine rather, and they're all looking at the right colour. So after you've done that, the disc should be a nice sort of blue tinge and very hot to touch, so don't touch. Had hoped, I'd been doing some CAN stuff behind the scenes with the ECU master. Had hoped that some of the stuff I'd implemented would work, but it didn't, so that's what I'm going to be doing, or investigating further to, at least. Anyway, thanks for watching. Sorry it's been a long one, or at least it's been a long one for me, because it's taken me 3 weeks to film this episode. Please don't forget to like, subscribe if you haven't done already, and hit me up with any questions about the Brembos, Akebonos and whatnot. Okay, cheers.